that we see or the apartments that we see, more of an emphasis is on the elevation or the facade which are of no consequences to architecture or energy conservation. The more of the concern has to become in terms of the space planning or the amount of materials that we use in architecture. I mean, the emphasis is less on this and then more on the facade or the superficial elements. Any material that you see in terms of flooring or something that you put onto your wall or the ceiling or all the finishes that you adopt for your wardrobes, etc. Yes, someone has a question. But when we go and look back in terms of our vernacular architecture and then the examples which are already there in and around Telangana, there is certain amount of compactness in the spaces. There are no exorbitant spaces or the spaces are very small and then exactly for what is required for our lifestyle. And these are some examples from Tandoor. Wonderful.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, your screen is not seen, sir. Are you sharing the screen?
Yes, I'm sharing the screen.
No, sir, it is not visible.
No,
Sorry.
it is visible,
it is
madam.
visible for us.
Visible, ma'am, it is.
It is visible.
It visible. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sir,
from
sir,
your
sir.
end, some problem is there. Just check.
Okay.
Okay,
So
okay,
the,
no
the
problem.
kind of houses that you go around in these spaces, they have wonderful. I mean, there is nothing like exorbitant spaces which are left, and then there again afterwards you say men have concerns about management of it or cleaning of it, etc. The another example that I'm going to show is the vernacular residences in Vardhamanapota. This is in Warangal, close to Warangal. I mean, beautiful houses in terms of the materials or in terms of the colors, textures, or the amount of heat or warmth that you find in the houses are missing in the current houses that we live in. I think one example that I would like to take is a country where we have to learn a huge amount of factors is in terms of space planning is Japan. Japan is like a country which has continued it in terms of its built environment traditions. So then everything which is available in terms of its vernacular elements are carried on to your contemporary architecture. I mean, those we have the internet cracking jokes on in terms of Japanese are short or Japanese don't live in very compact spaces, but that the whole idea of living in compact spaces is it's growing up in terms of its community, in terms of the city, etc. There is a kind of a correlation between each of them. I mean, future workspaces, you know, all of us are there in the times when we're going to spend a whole lot of hours in the home itself. So bringing this compactness or rearranging things or making it more flexible, etc., would definitely bring in a whole lot of meaning to our dwelling units. And then that's the major point that I would like to make on. And it doesn't end there only in residences as well. It also tends to go more towards the workspaces as well. And at times where we are talking about only 50% of the crowd going to office, so each one has to be trained enough to handle different things as well. So the whole idea of a box or a cabin, etc., are really not going to work further in our work environments as well. So, one major kind of a example that I want to show is in terms of materials. I mean, these are the examples from my practice. Usually, we don't go in for something which are new materials or like exactly factory-derived product materials, etc. All our concept, the practice has been concentrating on using up waste materials in terms of fly ash or used iron bars or used vegetable crates, etc., or plastic in the sense, you know. So these are the examples of using fly ash, and then how advantageous it using the fly ash in terms of it reduces the room temperature, or it also brings down cost on terms of plastering, or use techniques which are to cut down the heat gain, you know, or these are examples where we use the vegetable crates that you find in the market as openings. or in terms of partition walls as well, or plastic bottle wall is something which is catching up, or in terms of glass bottle walls as well. I mean, these are the material techniques we really don't require huge amount of money or investment. They are like very affordable and also like cost effective. In terms of strength, people may have like inhibitions in terms of saying, will it have the same strength as my other materials, etc. So please don't have any doubts regarding the strength of the materials there. Or example, we pick up all the scrap which is from the bicycles, etc. Start using them in terms of railings or gates, or broken tiles are also not made or left alone. They are also used in some part or the other. Or this is a wonderful example in Bombay where they have used all the broken windows and stuff. Or use metal which is left out from industries. So, then another important kind of an element, these are the filler slab kind of a technique where there is a kind of an involvement of the local handicrafts as well in the built environment. So these are few techniques which we generally use in order to make reduce the amount of energy or reduce the amount of heat inside the houses, or make them more livable, or make them more environmental friendly spaces kind of a thing. So coming back to our general discussion. So the whole idea of energy audit should not stop only till air, water, or like alternative energy. It should virtually start from land in terms of what is the amount of land that you're using, and then how much amount of land are you leaving for your green or your ecology as well. Usually what happens in our spaces is you really don't find these small pockets where you have plants, or where you can accommodate your rainwater harvesting or gray water harvesting, etc. So if you can think for a while and then say talk to an architect, talk to a person who is equipped with such ideas, etc. Uh, we really will have those wonderful ideas incorporated in our built environment as well. So first is the amount of land, and then the better utilization of the land. As we go forward, I'll also show you some examples of better utilization of land. And the second important factor is energy. I mean, what is the amount of energy that we keep using in terms of our artificial lighting, or amount of air conditioning that goes into it, or using of appliances and other things. And when it comes to water management, I mean, this is something which is like we often don't really concentrate on that. We assume that the amount of rainfall that comes to the city, and then how much amount of water is falling on your terraces, how much of it can be reused, I mean, how much of it can your water bills can be reduced, etc. This is something which public in Hyderabad haven't really thought about. If you assume, if you see the chart here, uh, there is certain amount of water which comes out from your bathing activity, or your tap, or something that you use in your kitchen, and then your shower. So all these water, if you just let out into your municipal sewer connection, it is wasted. So the new technique is in terms of all the gray water that can be collected and terms of reused. It can be recycled, filtered, and then recycled. So the amount of water that you use for your mopping, or your flushing, or your laundry, or for your landscaping, etc. So all this water can be recycled. I mean, that's like a very effective kind of a technique to reduce your water bills, or reduce the amount of water wastage, etc. I think when Hyderabad should really think about the grey water collection, and then utilization of grey water. I mean, that's a very easy technique, because, just imagine that you're washing few vegetables in your kitchen, and then all that water is definitely not so impure or not so hazardous. That can be reused for your landscaping thing as well. All you have to do is incorporate these small techniques of having a separate tank, or having a separate PVC tank, which can take in the water. You need just have to add in some filters, and then that can be reused. Very simple technique. It really doesn't cost. It is not a huge budget for incorporating these techniques also in your houses. Um, like some of the other techniques which come into my mind is install a rain barrel. So any amount of rain during the monsoons, that would virtually fill in a huge amount of water that can be used by the entire family. The techniques that I'm showing here are not restricted to only to individual houses. They can be also incorporated in your apartments or community living as well. So all the gray water is again transferred or shifted, diverted to vegetation. And when it comes to health, we usually don't consider when you travel in the city, you're exposed to so much amount of air pollution, noise, light, and there's no space for you to walk around, or you won't see any green spaces. So all these virtually impact on your health as well. Usually what we assume is the health is something that you form in your own house, but the moment you go out of your house, you are again exposed to all these factors. So they eventually affect your mental conditions as well. These are few examples that I'm showing. There are works of an architect called Chitra Vishwanath. There are like these visual galleries that you see. She uses only clay as a building material. There are no extra materials which are brought to the site more than 3 kilometers radius. All of them are energy efficient and sustainable techniques, including the furniture that you see are all remodeled or like brought in from waste market, and then remodeled to or customized to the client's requirement. Materials such as stone or brick, etc., gain a huge amount of importance. You know, these artificial lighting, most of the houses are lit through only sunlight, which you see here. I think which is very important. The more the darker spaces, it does have a negative impact on our mental condition. And there are skylights, there are terraces, there are green pockets, which actually play a bigger role. Or introduction of courtyards. There is a general misunderstanding or a very wrong notion that these courtyards are possible only when you have a large plot of land or a bigger site, etc. I would like to correct that, because any amount of plot, whatever may be the size, with efficient space planning or efficient kind of a space division, everything can be achieved. These pockets or terraces can also be achieved. Or the materials that you see in the entire houses. Nothing are artificial or nothing are superficial or like something which demand too much of energy, etc. So the kind of a practice here is it doesn't stop with your own compound walls. All the ideas are not restricted to your compound wall saying, let me stop all my ideas or sustainable techniques only to my compound wall. They actually travel into your community spaces as well. So in case if there is a green empty pocket in the locality, they start turning that into pocket parks, which can be used by the community. And coming up with rainwater harvesting pits in the community level as well. There's so much of rainwater which goes unattended in your streets or your roads as well. So having up a harvesting pit in the community itself is like a big task. Or I'll just show you one example. Imagine all our houses, we are very fascinated with the idea of having paved surfaces. Every inch of the house is paved, but having an alternative technique where the green takes over. The paved surfaces is very small, and then it doesn't, what do you say, a kind of a become a hindrance for your walking or your playing, etc. So these are few techniques which can be incorporated in making the dwelling units more meaningful. Or All of us have second thoughts in installing solar panels. I mean, I would like to take example of a shamiana. I mean, shamiana is a wonderful example of in terms of any kind of an activity, while it be raining or it is too hot outside, it still provides a certain amount of shade. So installing these solar panels onto your roof heads would be giving you a required alternative source of energy. It would reduce onto your current bills, etc. And your house is also turning into a bit green in the city. But also the second fact is it is also reducing the amount of heat which is virtually falling onto your terrace as well. So there is the Shamiana technique which is actually allowing you. Imagine the shaded portion is all your terrace, you know. So the solar panels are virtually stopping all the heat falling on directly onto your terrace. So eventually your house would become more cool in terms of the summer seasons. And the fourth most important factor, I mean, something which goes unattended in at a bigger scale in the city, you know, all of us don't segregate our waste. And then there was a chance where we took students to the dumping yards and then make them walk across the site and then say, make them more conscious on this is how what happens when you don't segregate your waste. I mean, segregating waste is a very simple technique. All of us have these buckets, the blue buckets and the green buckets, which we really don't use. But what happens if the city start adopting these green techniques? Separate your waste, dry waste, in terms of your bottles, Tetra packs, or your metal, and your wet waste. I mean, wet waste is something which comes out of your kitchen. Usually, and if you start inculcating these methods at your youngsters or your children at home, you know, it would definitely make a huge impact onto the city living. I mean, there's a possibility of making compost, and then which you can start using for your own plantations or trees or nursery plants in your own house. I mean, very simple technique. It really doesn't take more than close to around 15 to 20 minutes in segregating waste. But we tend to become more lazy or lethargic in terms of doing this waste segregation. And this is what comes out as a resultant. Huge waste. I mean, millions and millions of wastage which is thrown into the city landfills. And we usually have only two kind of a segregation, that is your green and the blue bin. But I would say we should also start having in your red bin, which is for the hazardous waste. I mean, the next hazard that you see in the 21st century is the e-waste. You know, every house actually has so much of electronic waste, which is actually goes unattended, and then it becomes a hazard for the city and then the environment around. And these are benefits of terrace gardens. I mean, when the whole world was complaining about lockdown and then staying indoors, etc., I think gardening was like one option which would change and then make you a more better person. Uh, I mean, these are few techniques of the gardening that you see around in the city. All these examples are from Telangana or Hyderabad, or your balcony using your kind of a greenery in your balconies as well, so that it is stopping all your dust pollution and then making it more convenient for you to sit and then have a cup of coffee. So coming to the last point of it is in terms of what is actually adding up to the carbon footprint. I mean, we assume that carbon footprint is only possible at city level, and then I have no role to play sitting inside my house. But invariably, you're also adding up to the carbon footprint in terms of the excess energy or power that you're using, or excess kind of emissions that you're coming out from your house in terms of your refrigerator, air conditioning, or aerosols, you using your deodorants, etc. All these start adding up to the overall carbon footprint, or you using excessive vehicle movement in terms of, even if the grocery shop is next to you, you can go by walk. You prefer going it by on a vehicle, so that is adding up to. So I would say the whole kind of a notion should start from general public, and then we should become more conscious and start making smaller steps in terms of things can't change overnight. Perhaps if we start making smaller steps take on a daily basis, I think we can make a whole lot of change to the environment. So I would say the whole energy audit should also become a social responsibility than what do you say, a kind of a fancy grading or what do you say, award system kind of a thing. It should more become like a social responsibility. I mean, I am part of the city, I am part of the world, so let me also add up to my responsibility. And it is not restricted only to say even one stream or one profession. I would say every walk of life should also become socially responsible for these decisions. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Someone have some questions or? Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, you have rightly said that an architect perception will be something entirely different, and you took our topic to the green actually.
Yes.
So, you have spoke about how we can make our interior space into cooler, and how best we can utilize our space to the best possible extent. All these things you have told very clearly, sir. It was wonderful session, and now let us go to the next question
Yeah.
question and answer session.
Right.
Yes, Srujan.
Is there a specific question that, or was I too fast in terms of?
Yeah, Maheshwar,
Yeah.
you can.
There's a question which is asking in terms of what is the cost difference between conventional building and then eco-friendly materials. I would like to inform that there is virtually like 40% of the overall building cost coming down in terms of usually people are a bit apprehensive in terms of using them because they haven't seen anywhere, but the practices are happening everywhere. uh, what would be the cost after construction to be an energy efficient? There are no add-ons to these building materials. Once done, they are there, say around 40-50 years. You really don't have to worry about it. Only thing is you have to be precise in while construction in terms of the process, etc. Because all our masons or the masons are used for regular techniques. So you have to be cautious while the laying is done. Whom to approach regarding such practices in Hyderabad? There are very good practices. If you want, I can share the details of the practices who are into such sustainable architecture.
Yes, sir, there is another question.
Uh,
Is there any method to make cool our houses in summer days?
in the server, so I would say, uh, one second. So in order to make your house cool, please add a second layer of roof onto the top. Like, one second. I think I have to share the screen in order to. One second. So if the screen is visible, there is a second screen, second kind of a roof, which is material. So you can virtually spread rafters or creepers onto this roof and make it more green, so the sun is directly not hitting your roof level. it is stopped at this point. So it is not cutting light. Light is falling down. It's only cutting heat. So that's a usual technique. Or the other important thing is that you see here, these are something called the fillet slabs. I mean, pots which are used in the slab. So these would virtually bring down the temperature around 2 to 3 degrees. I mean, fillet slab technique is something which is very famous in sustainable architecture. I'll show you another clear picture of fillet slab so that it's clear. So this is the fillet slab. So the pots are laid into the slab. So the usual RCC slab is not taking all the heat in. These pots are bringing down the temperature. Hope I have answered the question.
Sir, in this case, what will be the durability of the roof, sir? Will
It
it be
is
safe?
same. It is more than the usual technique, ma'am. If you want, I can show you the laying technique so that you're comfortable. But just give me a second. Ma'am, is the screen visible?
The same picture is there, sir.
1 second. Ma'am, is the screen visible? Can you see these pictures?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are pictures of on the site images of how these pots are laid. We virtually went around the Kumbar Basti in the city and then try to buy
Actually,
these pots.
you focus any of the one picture, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is in
Please
big
enlarge it.
font.
Yeah. So if you can see this. So it is the normal thickness. There is no variation in terms of thickness of the slab. Only places where there is no necessity of concrete, you are filling in these pots. So
It's not visible, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you focus
not
on
visible,
only
sir.
one image.
Yeah, I'm only showing one image, ma'am.
One image is not visible, sir. It is showing all the images actually.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think this is the technique, I think, where you can be comfortable about what is the thickness of it or how is it laid. All the techniques are the same. Only thing is while laying the slab, you don't have to hurry up. You have to be taking it slow. That's it. So all these pots are sourced from local Kumar Basti. These are all customized. There's a certain standard length that you want, or you want to look the pots to be in a certain feature, etc. So in terms of strength, in terms of maintenance, there's absolutely no added cost. Everything remains the same. It cuts down in terms of concrete, the amount of concrete per pot, it is bringing down.
Sir, what will be the leakage of water, sir?
There'll be absolutely no leakage of water, ma'am. It's all tested. No leakage of water at all. I can guarantee that. We have used this extensively, close to around 1000 SFT also into the slab. Absolutely no complaint till date. Yeah, I mean, any other question that I can
Yes,
share
sir.
more details about it. Okay.
That is a question and answer, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, sir, fly ash bricks are costlier because of transportation cost over long distance and because all the goods quality fly ash is used for cement production. Are there any other alternatives?
I mean, apart from fly ash, the point is you have these terracotta bricks which are bigger in size and also like which have hollow blocks, which also are another alternative to fly ash bricks. We use fly ash because you don't have to plaster to the surface again. You know, plastering actually takes in so much of heat, and I mean, it is an added cost to the building. And second factor is once you do plastering, you also start applying paints to it. We don't accept the fact that paints emit your uh, like what in terms of gases into the air, which are very harmful when we start breathing. So if someone is complaining about breathing problem or excessive respiratory infections, etc., that is because of the paints that we use in our interiors. So we don't usually count them. There is a VOC factor in the paints. So we don't use natural based paints. All of us are very comfortable using plastic emulsions or like all these synthetic paints, which are very harmful to us. Have I answered your question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Shishkala ma'am. Shishkala ma'am.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you. Sir, we have given very good knowledge. Majority of the people, they are asking for your PPT.
I'll share it. I'll forward it to you, ma'am. If you can give me your mail ID, I'll just forward
Yes,
it.
yes. And another thing is they want to have the contacts also, sir, for such practices and techniques.
I'll make a compilation and then forward it to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir. Thank you very much, sir, for giving giving us very valuable time. Thank you very much. Now over to Vijay Bhaskar, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for a presentation of a wonderful talk. You really inspired and impressed our participants, sir. Okay. This is a wonderful presentation because many of the institutions or industries generate a lot of waste and most of the time we send it out to the garbage areas. So with this talk, 80% of the waste can be used at on site and remaining only can be sent out, so that even in colleges and universities, most of the time the litter is also sending out, so that can be used to the gardens, and some creative ideas with your inspiration they can go for and implement in their colleges or institutions. Yeah. That will be more effective. Really, sir, once again, on behalf of the organizing committee and participants, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Over to Dr. Ramanji.
Add at the last point, so even all of us are very comfortable taking our school or college students only to shopping malls or like spaces which are very sanitized. We did that experiment. We took them to a landfill. We made them walk across and then see this is going to be a future, you know, because the landfill, the Jawahar dumping yard is increasing exponentially. So they should also know that. So then there is a certain amount of consciousness which increases in students as well. So, and that's it from my end. If there are more questions.
Yes, for any future, any assistance required, we will come to you, sir. Please extend your support.
Definitely. Anytime.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Ramanji. Please unmute yourself, Dr. Ramanji.
Yeah, thank you very much for your good presentation, sir. Nothing to add to this. Already my friends, colleagues commented on your presentation, but it is very beautiful. I could see very good pictures without much matter. So we can understand the concept theme, what you want to present to us. Definitely it inspires so many participants. Hope in future collaborations with you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yes, Shishkala ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable information, sir. all the participants are very happy and they are enlightened with your knowledge. So thank you very much for sparing this.
There's this last question, Dr. Manjari, ma'am.
Yeah, please answer, sir.
Once you have already constructed, it is definitely, I mean, we can visit and then check the possibility of where these energy efficient techniques can be incorporated. That's it.
Yeah, even in the roof gardening, sir, there are so many issues with the water. If water leaks in a roof garden, what happens?
Sir, usually what happens is you have to first lay a egg crate, the plastic egg crate or your mat, and then take it. You will not allow these pots to directly touch the roof. There has to be like a kind of a gap which has to be maintained directly from the roof. So once that gap is maintained and then you lay a kind of an egg crate or your rubber mat, then the amount of water seepage would be reduced.
If the rubber mat is laid, then the heat will be more, no, sir.
No, rubber mat will actually be insulated for heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Now we have another session by Professor Uma Maheshwari Madam. She is going to deal about organic waste management through vermicompost. So, Karthik, Uma Maheshwari Madam is there in the participant.
Ma'am, I don't know. Actually, I can't take into panel. Only option is having Vijay Bhaskar Reddy sir and Nageshwar
Okay.
sir actually.
Okay.
Host and co-host, we don't have that option.
Okay.
Vijay Bhaskar Reddy sir. Sir, unmute your mic, sir.
Dr. Uma Maheshwari, madam, please raise your hand, madam. Dr. Uma Maheshwari, madam, please.
Hello. Vijay Bhaskar తీసుకున్నాను మేడం ని డాక్టర్ టి ఉమా మహేశ్వరి.
Okay.
Yeah, she is into panel, sir.
Yes.
Shashkala ma'am.
Yes, Karthik. Karthik.
Ma'am into panel, ma'am.
Yes. Ma'am, good afternoon and we welcome to the short-term course Green Audit, ma'am. Now we are going to have Uma Maheshwari Madam's session. She is going to speak about organic waste management through vermicompost. Madam is from Professor Jaishankar Agriculture University, Hyderabad, Telangana. Now Dr. Vijay Bhaskar Reddy sir will be introducing Madam.
Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all. Thank you, Dr. Shashikala, ma'am. It's a privilege to introduce Dr. Uma Maheshwari, madam. Dr. Uma Maheshwari completed a PhD in entomology, dealing with the insects, and have 27 years of experience as a researcher and teacher for 22 years for a BSc Agriculture, taking both PG and UG courses, particularly in the subject of entomology. She guided 6 PhD students and 17 MSc students for their dissertations. And Madam published more than 41 research papers in national and international reputed journals. And Madam also got a Best Teacher Award from the Government of Telangana. She mentored students for their progress. Thank you, ma'am. It's a great session with you. Hope definitely our audience will gain more knowledge in our techniques of vermicompost, because many of the institutions they have a huge amount of garbage comes out, so that can be utilized, that can be turned to the vermicompost. With your lecture, they get they gain knowledge on techniques in vermicompost.
Yeah.
And now I request Madam to continue. Over to Dr. Uma Maheshwari, Madam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. Good afternoon to all of you. So today, just now we have seen how the waste can be utilized, but as a part of agriculture, as well as from the society, whatever we get from the fields as well as from the urban areas. Now I'm presently working as professor in the Department of Entomology. We have one course in the final years for agriculture students where we want to create them as entrepreneurs. So instead of being job seeker, they should provide job, provided they become job providers. Based on that, for the past 10 years, we are collecting all green waste from urban areas as well as from our crop fields, and we are doing this process. So now this, I had got an opportunity to express my experiences with how we can utilize the green waste. So in this, now first when we talk about, now everybody is talking about the organic waste, where we can see the organic waste where that can be decomposed. We are going to see them with the utilization. So basically it is a part of nothing but a environmental what we say science or whatever we say, it is a waste recycling, we say. But now people may get an doubt that why we can just dump it in villages, as we say, we can just make a heap and leave it for 2-3 months, automatically it becomes a fertilizer like that. But it is a time process, as well as the nutrient status also, it will differ. So keeping that in view, now what we have get into the practice, we have taken the earthworms, because you see generally earthworms, whenever rain is there, we see so many earthworms moving on our roads and our soil or like that. So here, when we talk about the earthworms, generally we say they eat earth, that is soil. But now we are saying for waste recycling, we are going to use the earthworm. So here the concept is, here we are utilizing the earthworms for conversion of the waste, green waste, into an organic manure. That is the concept. So completely the production of the what we say the natural organic fertilizer from waste, green waste especially, that is nothing but the vermicomposting, what we say. So this is the one where basic idea was to create good environment without any pollution by utilizing the waste, and second one is to provide the organic fertilizers that can be utilized or exploited by the people, so that they can go for the good food with good health. So that is the main concept. In addition, providing employment for the youth. So that was the main concept what we have thought of, and we have utilized the process and we are doing it. So now when we say the vermicompost is nothing but the composting with worms. So we are making the what is the waste material to get decomposed, then eaten by the worms, and that will release excrete the material which is rich. So that is the one where we can go composting with the worms. We are going to with the vermicomposting. So here what we say is, generally we have 2-3 what we say the procedures, but in general whatever facilities we have in our university, we have different what is structures we can utilize for production of the vermicompost. And here these are some of the pictures what we have done in our department, so that whatever the waste material, we just like plastic tubs or any cement tubs or simple bricks, also simple structures we can utilize. Even the rings, cement rings we get for about 300 rupees or 100 rupees in the city, that also can be utilized and we can use. Or you have, depending upon the economy of the person or utilization of the material, we can have availability of the waste, we can go for the production of this vermicompost. So now when we talk about the vermicompost, you can get one doubt, madam, only vermicompost has to be produced, or what we have to do. So here we have 2-3 options. Number one is vermiculture. That is, the first is vermicomposting, already I have explained to you. Next is vermiculture. It is nothing but, now if anybody wants to start with the vermicomposting, we need the base material as the waste we have already. But what is how the earthworms, where we get it? So that is the one type of business where we say vermiculturing, that is rearing of the earthworms for production of the, for giving as a inoculum for the people who want to start the vermicomposting. So you have vermiculture, we have vermicomposting. So this is all nothing but the vermi technology, which is nothing but a combination of vermiculturing, that is complete multiplication of the worms, and second one is the vermicomposting, that is production of the vermicompost organic fertilizer. So these are the two processes which we involve in utilization of the waste material. That is the two terminology we need there. So here, what type of earthworms generally we see? Already I told you, generally will be seeing whenever rains come, many earthworms will be seen passing on the roads or soil like that. But here, generally these are said to be a bio, what we say, remediation. For bioremediation we use them, because when the soil is rich in harmful metals like lead or whatever it is, generally we see these heavy metals which are rich in soil. When the earthworm will feed on the soil, through that alimentary canal or gut, when it goes down, it will excrete some excreta. So that excreta will be having the less heavy material which are absorbed by the alimentary canal. So here, generally for bioremediation, even in foreign countries, these earthworms, that is why previously our elder people will say, okay, earthworms were there previously when we were doing farming, but now we don't find any because of the chemical fertilizers or pesticides we used to soil. Now we are not getting them, but otherwise sometimes we see on roads moving them. So they are the worms which you can use, but they are not the ones which we are going to use, which feed on soil. So these are the earthworms which are nothing but the exotic ones, where they have the habit of feeding on plant material or organic plant material. So these are the ones which feed on dead, decayed organic material, which usually we get from the plants. So now, just now previous presentation we had roof gardens and other gardens and all. So even though we have the old leaves and weeds, we get it from those gardens also, where we want to shed off them. So that type of material also we can reutilize, and we can go for this vermicompost production at our home in a domestic way. So this is nothing but what we say our earthworms can be utilized. So this is the one where we can go for it. Now, just now I told you what are different types of earthworms which we can utilize for the production of the vermicompost. So as such, our soil feeding earthworms cannot be used. So then what type of earthworms we say? Now here we are going to say that history says or science says these are the worms which we generally get it from forest areas, because already we know in forest areas we have a crust of leaves, because when there is a rain and again leaf fall and everything, all leaves will be get crusted and they will be forming a crust over the soil, where when rain comes again it gets decomposed, again leaf will fall, and so that is a routine process which we occur in nature. So what happens? Earthworms are there everywhere, but here the earthworms, they will not get the soil at the lower level. So whatever the crust they have in the middle or above the soil, that they start feeding, because it is a ready-made available food which becomes soft because of decomposition. They were excreting. So when the scientists have seen this, okay, why not we utilize this type of earthworms, which we are generally, they are feeding on the organic matter, decomposed organic matter. And so scientists have brought it and such type of earthworms. Then they have seen by feeding artificially with the decomposed organic matter under our conditions, then they started feeding and they got the excreta, which we are analyzed the nutrient status, and they are much more better than the original waste whatever we have. So that is the one. So as such, when with regard to the slide what I am showing you, it gives the information with respect to the biology also, where we can see the earthworms which survive and hatch, and they will form a cocoon, and then they survive for about 15 to 20 days, the development period, and the average lifespan of earthworms will be generally 1 to 10 years. So this is the basic aspect with respect to the biology. But the main period what we need is from egg hatching to adult formation. As a geologist, everybody knows how earthworms can be identified. It is nothing but the clitellum lung, which is seen on the body of the earthworm. I'll show you. Then here, when we have collected such type of earthworms, again we have about 3,000 earthworms we have which can feed on dead, decayed organic matter. But we have some type of earthworms which can, because they always go down into the soil, because they have that habit. So when we talk about that, they have classified into epizoic, that which will move on surface, and endozoic which go down into the soil up to 2 feet. Then some are more than 2 feet. So when you talk about this surface feeders up to 2 feet and deep burrowing species more than 2 feet. Now, when we want to feed them artificially, it is very difficult when even they go for 1 meter, it is very difficult to collect them. So to avoid that one, we are generally in India, we go for epizoic. That is, we can select such type of earthworms which can go only up to 2 feet depth, so they can burrow and feed on the material to a height of 2 feet. So that are the ones which are much used in India. So these are the ones which we can go for the, which are slender, shorter in length, and usually they are red to ash in color or gray in color. They are nothing but the Eisenia foetida and Eugene, which are much used in India for the production of the earthworms. So here, when you see this temperature range also, we have 0 to, generally they can survive from 0 to 40. However, the optimum temperature will be from 20 to 30, and practically we have seen up to 35 degrees also they can able to survive in our conditions, and we can exploit them for production of the vermicompost. So Eisenia foetida and Eugene. So this is the Eisenia foetida, which we call it as a red worm or a pink worm or like that, which will be dark pinkish in color, and this is the one. So here you can see earthworms which you can have clitellum, where you can have a dark area, thick area from which cocoons will be produced. So this is an adult earthworm we can see. Then these are the cocoons, that is from the clitellum, they produce small, we say coriander seeds like that. The earthworms, cocoons will be like coriander seeds which will be brown in color. From the clitellum, when they get into adult stage, they produce such type of cocoons. So from these cocoons, you can see the hatching that is coming emergence of these young earthworms from the cocoons, so that you can see the cocoons which are hatched out from the eggs or the cocoons. So here, usually we'll get 4 worms from each cocoon. So this is generally we can see. And one earthworm can produce about 20 to 30, it ranges from 10 or 20 or 30 cocoons, so that they will multiply in the process of feeding. So this is the general capacity. Why I am telling this, how much worms they can produce, madam, what is the use? Because when once you want to start your compost vermiculturing and vermicomposting, once you use them as a kg or 100 worms, automatically because of this multiplication, they become double within one life cycle. So this is the one where you can see the development of it. If it is 50 to 60 days, after 60 days, if you see it, we need not purchase any worm, because if you added 1,000, almost it become 200. Sorry, 2,000. So this is how generally we have the production of the earthworms, where we can have it as a process, or when you have the entrepreneurship you want to do with vermicomposting. Only initially we need to purchase them and we release them. Later there is no need. So this is why I told you about their production capacity there. So now the basic point I have given, what are different earthworms we can use it, and how much time they will take. So all these things. Now, generally I told you already, as a part of experiential learning program, we involve our students and different type of structures we use for production of these vermicompost, and we train them to become an entrepreneurs. So these are all just pictures I kept them. Now, why we want to go for it? So nowadays we have the organic waste which is being burned, even in the villages also, or even cities also, we just burn them and we. So for production of this vermicompost in large quantities, because now in rural areas we don't have the place to apply. Even for export purposes, when a farmer or a gardener, he wants to send or export his mangoes or any fruit, now people are asking for the organic food. So in that part, we can have as an entrepreneur or in the domestic level for roof gardens and other things, we can have a good impact of production of this vermicompost in situ or in large quantities, so that it can be popularly go as a good natural fertilizer to improve the soil condition as well as to produce good food. Now, so here, if you talk about the organic waste, even GHMC will have a lot of waste, and people are asking us, Madam, when Vinayak Chavithi comes, we'll have a lot of that Nimajjanam day. we have lot of waste where banana leaves and other leaves, flowers, everything. What we have to do? Some people say, some people are making some other entrepreneur. We can collect the such type of waste and we can utilize them, and we can start with as a organic waste or green waste. We can utilize and recycle it, and we can produce the good organic material. So in the Hyderabad region or in any areas, we have a lot of organic waste which we can utilize. So there is a lot of scope for the new entrepreneurship with the production of the vermicompost. So here it is generally done in a mechanical manner, and however now we are using some modern technology, or even with small scale also with the traditional technology we can go for the production of the vermicompost. Now tell me, what are the mechanisms how we can produce the vermicompost, and what is the basic concept with the science? So when organic waste is utilized or fed by the earthworms, it goes into the alimentary canal, where within the body of the alimentary canal or gut of the earthworm, we can see the food after passing into the alimentary canal. Generally, we have the digestion process. Similarly, here also within the body, the alimentary canal of the earthworms, many of the enzymes like proteases, lipases, how we get our food digested, it also get digested and then mix up with the food material, and then nutrients will be absorbed and will release the excreta. So what happens here, when the material is extracted, along with the enzymes as well as some microorganisms will also come out along with the material. So here that excreta is nothing but much more in rich in nutrients like nitrogen, calcium and other micronutrients, because when the digestion process takes place, enzymes will be mixed up with the food material along with the excreta. Some part of material also will, nutrients also get mixed up with the excreta and it will come out as a vermicompost. So that is why when it comes out, it comes just like a tea powder, granular tea powder, brownish to blackish color product we can see as a excreta. That is a concept. How it is much more nutrient if you may get doubt, because when food is eaten, waste is eaten by the earthworm, automatically after digestion, whatever the excreta comes out, it will have some nutrients like urease, calcium, everything that will be mixed up with the waste food material, that will be extended as a excreted as a excreta, what we are using as a organic material. So the basic concept what we say. Then what is the raw material we need? So already I said it is a green material or waste material. So what is that green waste material? So any material you get that can be decomposed, that can be utilized for the production of the vermicompost. So here, except stones, plastic and glass pieces, stones, glass pieces and plastic. Only these things should not be there. Any material. At the time of Bonalu, we'll get lot of flower waste. That also we can utilize. Our Sankranti Pongal period, we get lot of flowers in the markets. They just throw away because of lack of market rate. So just we got it from markets. I send the students and get that material, waste material. Our Shamshabad, because it is nearer to us, we ask them to get the material from the market. So vegetable markets, when we go and ask them, waste will be like that rotten. So that type of material we can collect and we can use it for the production of the vermicompost. Then what is the other? Cow dung. You may ask, madam, why is the cow dung? People will ask me, why not directly cow dung can be added and applied into the field, as we see generally in the villages. But here, when you talk about this thing, here we are seeing that the cow dung is nothing but the FIM, what is a farmyard manure, which we keep it and we utilize it. But it takes long time and it will be in clod form. But here we are using cow dung only, not as a material. It is nothing but a material we add to the organic waste for fastening the decomposition process. So we add some cow dung, only very little quantity we need, so that we can mix up with the green material or waste material, and we just go for keep for 1 week or 10 days, so that this dung will be made into a slurry and that will mix up with the waste, so that decomposition will be very faster. Naturally it will take 3-4 weeks, but here now it will be 1 week or 10 days, it will be completed and become very soft. Similarly, you have biogas slurry. So from biogas we get the gas directly, that we know, but that waste comes out as a slurry, as a liquid, that also we can use it. Or now urine, we have panchagavya and other byproducts, natural farm products which we are using for fields. If you go see, have an idea about the farming, many of the people, they are using this material for production of this panchagavya, all those things, natural organic material in the villages. But cow urine also it can be utilized. And next is the material required is earthworm. So already I told you it can be Eisenia foetida or Utilus eugene, which we can use them. So these are the two basic things which we need for production, raw materials. But what are the facilities we need? So if you talk about the first facility, number one is a formation of the shed. So always we need a shed where it has to provide shade for the production unit. So first shade should be there to protect from rain as well as to protect from sun. So these two are the important points which we have to remember whenever we go for it. So we produce a shed. We have to construct a shed of different sizes, anything you want in east and west direction we have, so that only some starting part of the shed will be exposed to the sun in the morning, similarly in the evening. Otherwise in summer also we can protect by keeping some curtains or something, some screens we can keep it there. So you have to keep the sheds, we have to, then storeroom. That is after production, because this material is the one guarantee material which never gets spoiled. Only by maintaining some moisture, even for 1 year also you can produce and you can store them. So you can have a storeroom. That is also number one. So these are two important what we have to material. Then structures. Then second one is you have the cut, raw material has to be cut. So we need small chaff cutters. I think in animal things are, some persons are there with even that knife also they will cut a chaff cutters we need. Then some small material like baskets and other things we need. And another equipment we need is a sieve, that is geled antamana. So we need a sieve for sieving of the material after completion of the formation of the vermicompost. So these are all the things. And the important point is water facility. So we need water facility for production of this vermicompost. So these are all the things which we have to present. Then now everything we have constructed a shed, and we have got the material to transport the material from a field to all raw material from collected place to the shed. Then we have got the water facility, we have got the shed. Now how to go for the production of the unit? Now we have different methods which we can see. I told you already there is a pit method and heap method. Previously we have the pit method and heap method. So pit method is nothing but a pit, we dig it and into that we dump the material. But what happens generally, so when we have that pit in the soil, normally we dump it. The problem is here, when rain comes, automatically entire water will be collected to the pit and we cannot harvest anything. That is a waste process. Ground, we can have such type of cement pits or cement tubs which will create a pit-like condition, and we can go for the production of the vermicompost. Then cement tub. Just now I told you we can have the cement tubs, or with this type nylon structures also we can create the structures and we can use the material. Or if you have somewhat economically you are okay, then you can go for a construction of the shed where you can use them by forming a shed with a polythene cover without any water leakage, or with any asbestos sheets or anything, you can form a shed also. And nowadays these are all of my students, where even mobile beds are also available, which we get in plastic wholesale people, or even government of Telangana is also supplying such type of mobile beds which will have the 4x2 size or 4x4 or 12x2, like that. Different sizes are there which can be placed for 1 year. That is, you can use them and you can throw them again, you can purchase. So such type of mobile beds are also available in the field, in the market. You can use them wherever there is a shade, you can use them and you can produce a vermicompost. So these are all the things. Are thatched roof, because in village we cannot talk about all these things. So even in village with a thatched hut also you can produce and you can protect the worms from shade, sun and rain. So these are the things, different type of structures which we can utilize for the production of the vermicompost. Or even that is also not available in winter. Take out rainy season. Now from November to February you want to have it. So you can create such type of things with the bricks or waste stones. You can create a bed like that and you can utilize it and you can produce the vermi. So depending upon our conditions, whatever waste material we have, and we can try for the production of this vermicompost. We can go at any level, it's a small scale level or at a commercial level, we can produce the vermicompost. Okay, so these are all the things which we have. See, stones or bricks were arranged and we can produce the worms. Now, so when you start, have the idea about the how to keep the shed and how to material, what is the raw material you need, then in general we have to keep it in mind. What is the basic favorable conditions we need? pH should be around 6.2 to 7.5, means it is nothing but neutral condition. Then important point is pH we cannot measure. Important point is moisture, that is always around 60 to 70% moisture should be maintained. So that is the one important. It should not be above 70 or less than 60. Then aeration, 50% aeration from total pore, because when they form the bed, automatically when you go on regularly watering to maintain 70% moisture, automatically what happens, entire bed will become compact and no air will not pass. So you have to regularly sprinkle water to maintain the optimum moisture. Then temperature always favorable is 18 to 35 degrees centigrade. That is why what it gives the indication, in summer we have to take care about the bed so that temperature will not increase in the bed above 35 degrees centigrade. So these are all the important points just we have to maintain. Remember when you go for the process of production. Now, so when you have constructed a thatched hut or anything for production, that is a shed, then one important point you have to remember, whenever you form the bed, it should be above the ground, because when you form a bed above the ground, it should be at height of 1 feet above the ground, because when rainwater comes, if you form the bed only on the surface, rainwater will pass below the bed and all worms will die. So always we suggest it should be at least 1 feet above the ground level, so that any rain will come, it will pass away from the things. So you have to have a particular height of the bed from the soil surface. Then what is the activity? Now you have constructed a shed, then you have got the raw material and the cow dung. So how to start now? First we can have an idea that how we go with the skills first. So whenever there is any training is given, it is just nothing but a 3-4 hours training where we can go there and we can see them and we can plan how much quantity you want to produce. So here you can blindly remember one point, from 1 square meter, that is bed of 1 meter width, 1 meter length, you will get around 10 kgs. You blindly remember that. That is 1 meter width, 1 meter length bed is there with 2 feet height, because already I told you in the first slide itself where earthworms which can penetrate up to only 1 feet, 2 feet depth, only those we are selecting surface feeders. So always bed size should be 2 feet, length that height should be, then length is 1 feet, 1 meter, and width is 1 meter, you will get 10 kgs. Blindly, based upon that, depending upon the availability of the place, you can construct a bed or shed or whatever it is. You will get an idea that how much quantity we are going to get it. Then that is important. Then you may get another doubt. If you have used 1 ton of waste with cow dung, adding dung, not only cow, buffalo, so any dung you have added, then if you mix it and if you keep it, generally if you use that only up to around 50% only you will get it. So if you add 1 ton also, you cannot expect 1 ton compost will come. So because it will be have to dry, then it has to be consumed by the earthworm, then it will exceed only around 50% you will get it. So that is the one. So these are all the things where you can go with the production. Then what we have to do is it will take around the 3 months. First time when you want to go for production, you have to collect the waste material, you have to collect some quantity of dung, you have already constructed the shed. Then how you have to, it will take one cycle, it will take about 3 months. So how you should do it? Now first I have given just, it is a developing business plan. That is, if you spend how much you will get it. Then you first you have to know about the procedures, you have to go through the material or any training person, or you have to see the skills. Then you plan for production. For that you have to collect the raw material. Then here I have written a straw, because as agricultural university we get the straw. But other side, when you want to get straw, you can see the dry leaves also, you can use it. Then you have to next form the vermi beds. That is, I'll show you. So here you have to see that from east to west direction, you have to go on spreading the material mixed with the dung. Then afterwards, you just slide. I think everybody will have the experience. Whenever you use the what we say dung, you heap it, automatically you see some heat coming out of it. So if you immediately release the worms, they will die. So for that purpose, what we have to do is just you have to go through the things and you have to soften it, as well as you have to reduce the temperature and by watering. So conditioning of vermibeds is nothing but go on adding sprinkling water daily, so the temperature will get down by the time you want to release the worms. Then next point is, after pre-conditioning or conditioning of the vermibeds to a temperature, you collect and release the earthworms. So from just now in the beginning, I told you it is nothing vermiculturing or vermi hatchery. We call it as a technical term vermi hatchery, like our poultry hatchery. We produce the earthworms and we sell them, so that these people, they want to start vermicomposting, they will collect it and then release them. So you have to collect. Then you may get again wondered how much quantity, madam, we have to purchase. So for 1 meter, 1 square meter, again you can release about 1 kg. What is this 1 kg quantity? So here 1 kg means they will have the around 700 to 800. People say 1000, but never it will be 1000. 700 to 800 earthworms. We cannot count them. So how we get it? Because a earthworm, if you collect in as a kg or whatever 1000 worm, it will have a mixture of cocoons, small worms, and big earthworm. So big earth means an adult. That is the clitella. So when we have a mixture of this and we get it and collect them and release them into the bed, from cocoons, young ones will come. Young ones will start feeding and adults will produce the cocoons again. So by the process, during the process of production of vermicomposting, all will be going on the process, that is release of young ones. Young ones will feed on our material and adults will produce the cocoons. So this is a process where it is a mixture of things which we do it and they will start producing. So already I told you the development period from hatching to the clitellum formation is around 50 days, 55 days. So already we have got 10 days for preconditioning, again 50. So totally 60 days, 65 days over. Now what happened? After 65 days, when we see the bed, what we have first kept as a bed, now if we observe totally, no smell will be coming, then no leaf or waste material will be seen, entire thing will be converted into color, brown color, and that is done nothing but the excreta from the earthworms. Now it has totally converted into a vermicompost. And another important point here is, you will not get any smell and worms will be totally multiplied and they will be full of earthworms. Bed will be with full of earthworms. So this is the process where we have to go for up to 60 days, 65 days it will be there. Then after seeing the change in the formation of the bed, or change in the color, no smell, nothing will be there, then you stop watering. That is, by 65 to 70 days you stop watering. So when you stop watering, automatically you can see the stop watering, automatically you can see the bed will be slowly drying from top to down. So when you stop when you stop drying, when you stop watering, then automatically the bed will start drying from top to bottom. Then when earthworms will have the habit of only going to the places wherever moisture is there, then they will go down and settle at the lower level, and you can totally slowly you can take it out and you can sieve the material. So that is a procedure where total entire process will take about generally, if you do it in a systematic manner, it will take about 90 days. So here generally I told you already, pit method or a heap method. Then above the soil you can have it, you select such a site with water and other facilities, so you can use the material, dung and everything. So this is how generally our students have formed the beds in the shed. You see the height here above the ground, so that even if rainwater will come, it will go away, it will not touch the bed. Or you can use cement tubs like that. Then why we have after release of the worms, the bed should be covered with either straw or any gunny bags or any material like where you can use them for conservation of moisture. So this process should be continued for about 60 days, so that entire material will be kept moist and that will be converted into a vermicompost. Then regularly you have to water them and sprinkling just water into the beds. Then after 1 month after, you can just make them slightly ups and downs so that aeration will be improved. So you can make them here upside down and you can see that the bed will be loose without any caking. So that we have. So you can see here even our green nets which we can utilize for the greenhouse and all, that can also be used for creating aeration as well as a good condition you can maintain. So these are all different structures which we make the students to run for it. Then so this you continue up to the 3 months so that you can use them and you can produce them for the total. So the turnover of the compost will be around 50 to 75%. Then harvesting also I told you, just stop watering when you see the change in the bed condition, color as well as other things, then you can use them for the seeding. So how you can see such things? Harvesting, you need to do it, they will be multiplying, they will be coming out of the even gunny bags also, they come out like this. Then you get that material. Then this is a sieve what we generally costing about 10 to 12,000, which applies for the sieving of the production of the material, and we can use it manually or even mechanically also. Now they are utilizing for the sieving of the vermicompost. So after sieving, it will be very moist with more than 70%. So what we do it, we just shade dry them and we keep them, then we can pack them. So finally you will see a granular material which is nothing but the vermicompost. So this is how generally we have the material, we can use it as a vermicompost. So now, okay, we have known the procedure, but what are the precautions we have to take it? So never cover the beds with the plastic sheets because that will absorb the heat and that will burn it. Then next, another one is, some people say for 1 square meter, I told you, here you will have the, Anita, 1 minute, sorry. Anita, 1 minute, yes. Sorry for the interruption. So here we have the, we should never will cover with the plastic sheets because it will absorb heat and kill the. I told you for 1 square meter use only 1 kg or 700 earthworm. People days it will be more. So that is a wrong thing. Avoid high population. So never is you use them for the overloading. So that is a one point you have to keep it in mind. Then dry conditions will kill the worms and waterlogging also. That is more watering also will affect the production of the vermicompost. So regularly you should water in summer every day or for alternates are 3 days in rainy and winter season. Similarly, you should not add too much of green waste also. Like we get tomatoes and citrus which are rich in acid. So that should not be utilized. And you have to add very less quantity of such type of fruits and other things. Then if you get any more water, try to provide a drainage channel from the bed so that waterlogging can be avoided. So this is the one where you can use it. And one important point I told you is you avoid stones, glass pieces, plastics, and any material bulbs like that. Some people here want to get one doubt because when I have advised one type of canteen, that is cafeteria in IDB, where they ask, madam, in cafeteria we'll get lot of eggs because boiled eggs, now we say it is a more rich protein food. Many eggshells will be coming. So don't add eggshells as such. You just make it into a small, crush them and then you add them because the body of the earthworms may get affected because of the sharpness of the eggshell. So you make it into a powder, then you add to this so that you eat it. Now, during the process, we have a lot of natural enemies also because generally when we see in the villages, in the field, we see the chicks, that is the one. But otherwise, when we see dry condition, we see the ants, termites, rats, pigs, even birds, where they will just eat on earthworm. So we have to be very careful by keeping some nets or mesh or anything over the bed, and we have to be avoiding all these natural enemies. So this is one with these things. Then we can use any type of material around the, keeping any neem material around the bed to avoid all these above ants or termites. Then That is the one point you have to remember where you can go for the production of the vermicompost. Now, when you want to get it from any place, or even when you start a vermi hatchery, you want to sell the earthworm. How we want to have a business to take it from one place to another for our purpose, or when we want to buy them. So live earthworms cannot be like single worms. We cannot use them along with the substrate. We have to take them in a container. Then by providing some type of aeration, then we can transport them, then we can use them for their purpose. So that if you are traveling for 1, 2, 3 hours, if you keep them in a tight box, automatically they will die or bad. So you should have light aeration so that they will survive. That can be. So this what with the culture will contain cocoons, juveniles or adults, because it is nothing but all the type of stages which we see. So those things. But sometimes what happens, cocoons are much more better than for the population buildup, or young ones are much more better for starting of the vermicompost, because how the vermicompost is produced, it is nothing but the young ones will start feeding, they grow for 50 days. During that period only they eat and they excrete. That is a vermicompost. So we need more of juveniles with you. Otherwise also adults will have it clitellum and they will give the young population they will produce. That is also useful. So it is a mixture of cocoons, juveniles and adults. That is always good. So we have to be very careful while transporting the live worms. Okay. So these are all about the basic things what I told you. Now after production, how we can utilize, how much we can utilize. So you can utilize vermicompost at any stage, for any crop or anything, but always it takes about 3 times minimum application for any field. So it will take time of about 6 months crop. It needs 1.5 years to change the soil condition, so that it will be beneficial and we can cut the organic food material. So field crops generally we recommend 5 to 10 tons per hectare. Vegetables 10 to 12 tons, or flower pots also 100 to 200 grams. Then fruit trees from 5 to 10 kg per day. So depending upon our what we say application, we have to produce the material, or we can purchase the material and we can use it for our domestic purpose or for commercial orchards or vegetable growing. So that is how generally we apply the vermicompost to the fields crop. Then already you know what are the advantages of vermicompost. So it is nothing but a rich source of nutrients, already I told you, because in the elementary canal they will have the nutrients where they release the urease, calcium, everything, and that will be mixed up with that. In addition to that, the biological secretions like vitamins, enzymes, antibiotics and hormones, so automatically they will be mixed along with the excreta and they will come out. So from the waste you are going to get, if it is a green waste, you are definitely going to get a good organic fertilizer. So this is the one way. In addition, it will also have microbial populations for the useful for nitrogen fixation and phosphorus solubilization. So nowadays people, they don't want to apply urea or superphosphate, something chemical fertilizer. We need always certain type of biological bacteria which will fix up the nitrogen, that is supplementing the urea or phosphorus, so that naturally they produce that type of material. In addition to that, in case of some type of what we say pulses and other things, they will produce the good nitrogen bacteria, also rhizobium, all those things in legumes, which will improve the nitrogen fixing capacity of the and supplying to the roots. So this is why we apply vermicompost to any of the crops. We can use it and get a healthy food material under natural conditions. Then we always say even quality parameters like taste, luster, keeping quality of the product. In case of flower plants, when we say my experience is the flower petals will not get dropped, even in roses like that. In some flowers, when you apply the vermicompost and maintain, the flower quality will be very nice. Even fruit luster, papaya, mango, all these, the keeping quality will be very nice. So that is why we go for the application production as well as application, which gives a good quality parameters for the particular produce like fruits or vegetables or anything. Then if you go with the nutrient status, as I told you, so many of the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, all are much more quantity in the vermicompost as compared to the iron and other material like FIM or whatever the chemical fertilizers. Totally we want to avoid them and we can utilize them. So if you compare them, FIM in the middle, you have the vermicompost. You can compare here the quantity of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and protein, because these are the major nutrients what we say which are required for the plants. They are always compared to the farmyard where normal farmyard manure which we produce in the villages. We compare with the vermicompost, it will be always double almost, will be more than, so that will be supplied, which is produced from the waste, organic green waste. So that is why we much suggest for the production of the vermicompost. So that is about the vermicompost. Now, already I told you about the vermiculturing or vermihatchery. That is just to produce the worms and sell them. That is one type of business or subject. Then second one is a vermicomposting. That is you want to produce in a quantity based material to supply to the orchards or vegetable growers or fruit growers or any root gardens or whatever. But now we have one more additional material which we can get it as a byproduct or as a material, because in root gardens when you apply your vermicompost, it has to be absorbed by the plant when you apply to soil. Then it has to reflect in the form of growth or fruit yield or whatever. But now we want all immediate. We want to have the immediate supply of nutrient. So here what we say is vermi wash. We say it as a vermi tea or vermi wash, where here the vermi wash is nothing but the material which we get from the earthworm. So what is that? It is nothing but watery extract of the organic compost and the wash of earthworm. I think I told you in the bed shed material bed method, when you apply watering, sometimes I told you it will have the more excess of water they will apply. Then waste water, because bed need only 70% moisture. So excess water has to get drained up. So that water also, I told you to create some drainage. So that also you can collect it and that you can utilize it. And then you can see the things which you can use it. So that brown fluid, whichever water is coming out from shed also, is nothing but the vermi wash, because when you apply water over the bed, you will get the brown liquid, which is nothing but washing of the body of the earthworm along with the material. Everything it is coming out. So it will have all almost nutrients which are present in the vermicompost. That is a ready-made tonic for the plant. So that is nothing but the vermi wash. So it is a brown liquid which we get it from the earthworm's body. It is a byproduct which contains all soluble potassium, calcium, magnesium, everything it will have it. So that is the one. Now how you produce, it needs a particular structure. You can use of any old barrels, that is any drum with paint inside, or plastic water barrels we get is our large parts or any parts we keep it, and we can create such a type of structure you can utilize it. And normal, this is the one we see in the rural areas, just they keep a water bottle open, and then above which they keep a tripod stand, over which they keep the water with the add a droplet, and near base they keep a tap and collect it. So this is how generally the simple structure arrangement which we can use for collection of the vermi wash, where directly it is used as a ready-made tonic for the plants in roof gardens and other areas. Just they take a within a spray and they apply over the plants, so that immediately it will absorb by the plants. So this is the one small where you can see keep a base for the bricks, above which you keep the tank or barrel or whatever, having a tap as an outlet. Then over that, now you keep the stones or some strands so that this will not block the tap. So here you keep some coarse stones, above which is sand. Then you can keep the soil and dung also you can add, and earthworms, and over that you keep it covered with straw or dry leaves so that moisture will not get evaporated. And this you have to keep it and leave for 15 days to acclimatize. Then daily you add water so that that will get decomposed and that will be eaten away by the earthworms. Then after about 15 days, now you keep a small bottle or bucket or pot, anything with water sprinkling down slowly, very slowly, drop by drop. Then here that water will pass through this, through earthworms, through the dung, everything decomposed organic matter, and that will slowly leach and then come out as a droplet. That is nothing but the vermi wash. So this is the vermi wash where we can see the production of the vermi wash. You can collect it and you can do it. Then here this vermi wash contains all microbial beneficials what we had in the vermicompost. Then it also have some enzymes and other hormones. And so immediately you will have the ready-made effect which you can see there. So this is about the vermi wash. In addition, they will also have some microbials which will be useful for the plant. So these are all the things which you can use them for the vermiwash. So vermicomposting, vermi hatchery or vermiculturing, as well as you can use them as a vermiwash also. So people say it is a liquid fertilizer which will dilute in water and apply over the plants, that is acting as a biopesticide also to get rid of all pests, some pests. So this is the one where you can see that it will never will have any adverse effect in soil or plant or in the environment. So these are all the things which we can go for the. So again, this also used how it can be utilized. You will collect the material automatically. You can before getting, you will get from nursery. You will get the plants. You dip them in vermiwash and then you plant it. That's what we call them as root dip. Or you can apply with a sprayer. You just mix them and you spray them. Like now we are getting sanitizer. So such type of big sprayer you can take it and fill with the vermiwash and spray over the plants so that you can get absorbed by the plants and you can get the nutrient supply. Or you want to drench the soil, even in the pots also, you dilute with water 10 times, then you apply to soil like water. So this will also affect the rotting. That is, all plants will get rotten if you add more water. So such type of things also you can go with the avoiding the soil-borne pathogens without causing any disease or rotting of the root system. So these are all the things which we use them by utilizing only organic waste. Whatever waste you get from any type of gardening or anything organic farming, you can take that waste, weeds or any plant material, even after leaves get yellowed, that also will collect. So such type of things we can use them and produce the vermi compost or vermi wash. You can get it, and if you want as a business, you can get them as a vermi hatchery. So these are all the things which we need. So here we can have the idea where it's a where green waste that we utilize to again get the green plant. So this is all nothing but the composting, which we can go with the production and all facilities I told you. It is nothing but the shed we need, then water facility, then raw material as a green waste, then small quantity of dung, then you need the earthworms. So with this, just within 3 months you can have it. And if you want to go for a large scale, you can have to have 3-4 sheds one by one. Alternatively, every month we can do it. So year round you can have the idea. So this is about immediately after getting dung. One point you have to remember, I forgot to tell you, you have to spread it, dry it, then you have to transport to the shed, so that we have doing the pre-conditioning of the material. So these are all the things which you can use green waste for the production of the material. I hope at least I could able to give the information. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
You have given very excellent information, ma'am, which is very, very useful to our participant and also to us also, ma'am. From my side, I have one question to you, ma'am. Is there any possibility to decrease the time taken to make the vermicompost, ma'am?
That also we have an idea, because only time decreasing nothing but by fastening the decomposition process. By fastening, because when you get any waste material, usually it will be very hard, material will be very hard. So it has to get decomposed. So you can add more dung if you have, or nowadays you have decomposed bacteria. Now we are in the market, we are getting a decomposers. So that decomposers you can get it from market mixed with water, that you can add to the waste material. So that instead of 15 days, it will take only 1 week for decomposition. Then immediately when it gets decomposed, you can release the worms. That's how you can do it.
Okay, ma'am. I have another question, ma'am. In our municipality itself, it seems one organic converter machine is there, it seems. So they are making the compost within 1 day. 1 day itself, it seems. And they are simply they are keeping all the organic material at elevated temperatures, and then they are making it into compost, it seems. What will be the nutrient quality, ma'am, when compared to this regular vermicompost and that one?
That will be definitely less than the vermicompost one, because here we are involving our living organic organism, where it is getting mixed with the natural enzymes and everything. Though it is taking time, but it is the natural product we are getting. There we are just exposing to high temperatures and we are converting to material. We don't know what is the nutrient status of that particular material. Only their process may be complete recycling of the waste, but this will be definitely less than the one what we get from the earthworms through vermicompost.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now we have some questions, ma'am,
Yeah.
in question and answer box. Uh, could you please suggest what type of plants can be grown through vermicompost? Whether vermicompost is used for growing cereals crop also?
Growing?
Cereals, ma'am. Cereals crops.
Yes. Yeah, any crop, any plant food material, vegetables, anything you can use the vermicompost for production. For any plants we can utilize. Only thing is, cereals if you take paddy, rice, it will be in flooded condition. So generally, for usually keeping quality, wherever you are seeing the keeping quality like fruits and vegetables, we recommend the vermicompost because that keeping quality should be maintained. In the case of cereals, usually we get the grains. So here we don't need much of the vermicompost like that. So there we go for some other type of material. FIM is enough for that. But in fruits, flowers and vegetables, where keeping quality is more important, we go for application of the vermicompost.
Thank you. Thank you. There are few participants who want to ask questions.
Yeah, you can ask.
Yeah, they can come.
Yeah, one person, Anil Kulkarni, he asked, what about costing? Yeah, so generally, with the present day, what we hear is when we collect the material, where the transportation of the organic waste, then take a collection of the material, 1.5 is the cost benefit ratio. That is, first initially, if you spend 5 rupees, you will get 7.5 rupees or 8 rupees. But it depends upon the person who is producing the quality material. When once you produce quality material, automatically you get the your whatever spent amount by 2 years. Immediately you don't get any uh, profits immediately. 1.5 times first initially you get it, but later after 2 years you will get whatever you have spent, you will get the double amount.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Now,
The
Satish
capital,
Tambe.
yeah, somebody asked what about capital cost? It depends upon the place where how much size shed you want to construct. Usually we have constructed a shed with the 40 by 20. That is around 800 square feet. Take it 1000 square feet. It comes about 1.5 lakhs. The shed will have 1.5 lakhs initial. Then remaining what working capital will come around 50,000. So you can start with 2 lakhs one shed, and you can have with the production where you will get around 2 tons, minimum of 2 to 2.5 tons, depending upon the cost of the compost. Generally in Amazon, if you see, it will be around 30 rupees, 60 rupees also. And in our university, we sell only for about 8 rupees. So depending upon the cost and quality of the material, you will get good returns. But for 1000 square feet, you will get around 2 lakhs capital investment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right. Yeah,
Dr.
Aparna Chandra. Madam, I brought the worms twice and tried to do vermicompost using proper protocol. But worms died and it happened twice. What could be the reason? So in which type of structure she started, I don't know, Aparna Chandra. So here, the type of material we use with good aeration, that is more important. Even I have shown you government is also supplying our plastic shops also, they will supply mobile vermi beds which have aeration. So if aeration is not there, they will die, definitely. Or if you add more water, they will die. Or if you expose to the rains, they will die. Because lot of aeration they need, only 60%, 60 to 70% moisture, sprinkling water, so that they will survive. If you add more water also, if you don't add water also, they will die. And another important, in the bed also, lot of air should be there. That is why we suggest after 1 month, you just upside down it so that air will be created and bed will be loose. So that precaution we have to take. Yeah, is poultry waste is recommended for vegetable cultivation. So what we say is, she asked, poultry waste usually we say it is very hot. The microorganisms which are present in the poultry waste, they will be creating very lot of heat generation there. So that is why it can be mixed with vermicompost with good water. Then only it has to be applied. Directly poultry waste should not be applied because it creates lot of heat in the field where plants may die.
Ma'am,
Tell me, ma'am.
my question is actually how vermicomposition will form in agriculture.
How vermicompost?
Vermicomposition will form in agriculture.
Farmer.
I mean,
Be clear, I'll tell you. How?
how vermicomposting will form in agriculture,
Hello.
lands, fields.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
In terms of application,
Hello.
you are telling? In terms of application?
Agriculture.
Agriculture. Cultivation only you are asking?
Yes, I'm asking about cultivation, sir. Cultivation.
Yeah. You can apply before planting. Then after 3 months also you can apply in the middle.
Yes.
Then after a crop is over by 6 months only. Generally for seasonal crops it will be 6 months.
Yes.
So you have to apply for 3 to 4 times. Then you have to see the soil condition.
Yes.
Then you have to check without any chemical fertilizers. It will take about 2 to 3 years. Then totally soil will be modified. Then it will become an organic. So there you need an organic certification by showing the results. Then they will give a certification. You can sell your product as an organic vegetable or fruit.
Okay. Okay.
Madam.
Mama.
Hello, madam.
Tell me.
How many months for the lifespan of the earthworms?
Generally, life may be 1 to 10 years. They will survive. But
Hello.
what is a hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Earthworm lifespan.
Lifespan is 1 to 10 years. Some live for 2 years. Some live for 10 years. But adult will survive. Development period is around 50 to 55 days. Means
okay, madam.
After hatching from the egg.
Hello.
Tell me.
Okay. So we can procure from other agriculture university that earthworms are cost.
Cost usually it will be 100 rupees per kg.
Per kg?
Kg means along with the material around 700 to 800 worms will be there. That can
what is the cost, madam?
100 rupees.
100 rupees. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Satish Tambe, would you like to ask question? Satish Tambe.
Yeah, somebody asked, ma'am, what is the purpose to produce earthworms in large quantities? What is their use? Vermi hatchery, I told you. Sakina Banu. Like our poultry, how we get the eggs. Similarly, for production of the vermicompost, first you need earthworms. So we can select such type of entrepreneurship. Only we produce earthworms and we sell them. We don't produce, wait for 3 months or vermicompost, all those things. Only earthworms we produce in large quantity. We sell to the entrepreneurs who want to go for vermicomposting. That is our.
Dr. Sonavani would like to ask the question. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, the information which you have given is excellent, ma'am. It was very, very useful to, especially to our green audit, ma'am, because in this green audit we have waste management also. This waste management, mitigative activities, all these things auditor need to give, ma'am. So definitely the organic waste which is being generated in the premises where they are doing the audit, they need to give one suggestion. So they can happily give the suggestion with all technical knowledge which you have empowered today, ma'am. It is very, very grateful. We are very, very grateful to you have here, ma'am. It is our honor and it is our pleasure that you are here in spite of your personal so many busy schedules, and even personal things are also very panic with you, it seems, ma'am. In spite of that time also, you are here to share our knowledge. That shows your interest towards sharing the knowledge, ma'am. We are very, very happy to have you here, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Over to Vijay Bhaskar Reddy, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a wonderful and a very elaborative lecture, madam. You have given whole thing about vermiculture, vermicompost, and vermiwash, and their utility, conversion, and all the detailed way you delivered a lecture. It reached our audience mind and enriched their knowledge. Already madam said while going for a green audit, managing the waste of any institution is a major part, a major aspect of the green audit report. So once we use this technique, vermiculture technique, we can convert the green manure or green waste and convert it to a vermiculture, vermicompost, and that can be used in gardens or some other place, or we can put it for sale and gain some amount, and that can be used for other area. These are all add good value to the green audit, madam, for a particular institution. Really good information you have shared with us today. And on behalf of the organizing committee, Dr. Shashikala ma'am and Dr. Amanchi, and also on behalf of participants and my own behalf, great and a big thanks to Dr. Uma Maheshwari madam. Thank you so much. And over to Dr. Amanchi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Unmute.
Switch on.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your valuable information this evening. We have got so many responses from the participants saying that it's a very good informative session and also practical session. We have in the last 4 days we have very good sessions with the practical approach. This is also one of the same. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.
Now we will have a formal vote of thanks by P. Sri Lakshmi garu.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam, it was a very informative session, and really, like all the audience, all the participants who hear your session would have taken all the information required to start vermicomposting. Not only the participants who are into science, and those not into science also, I think your session make a sense to start a small scale industry, because the pictures you have shared and all the methodology you have shared will help the non-scientific audience also to start a vermicomposting as a small scale or even a large scale industry, even all the methodology, how to start vermicompost at a very big, large scale too. So very detailed and informative session, madam. Really, you have explained, you have elaborated every simple thing, including the conditions required for the worms to grow well and other nutrients required. So whatever points you have shared with us today, definitely cherish the scientific audience as well as non-scientific audience to bring the organic farming more and take over. I mean, not only the biofertilizers, even vermicomposting also plays a vital role in organic farming. That's what you have conveyed, and thank you very much. Everybody might learned about vermicomposting, but you have again markedly told audience the importance of vermicomposting. Yes, it plays a vital role in gardening and other organic farming. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, sir, Vijay sir, Shashi madam, and also Nagira sir for giving me the opportunity to propose of thanks to Uma madam. It was a great privilege to propose out of thanks to Uma madam. Thank you, madam, once again. Yeah.
Srijan, are there any? Srijan or Karthik, are there any instructions for the participants?
No, madam. They have got all the links.
Okay. Then shall we break for next day?
We can end the session.
Yeah, we can end the session. Thank you, all the participants. Tomorrow we have very good, exciting lectures. We will start our session by 10 o'clock only, sharp 10 o'clock. Do join the link with the same link only. You do join. And tomorrow again we are going to have one IFS officer and also scientist from EPTRI. And from EPTRI we are going to have environmental auditing by Mr. N. Ravinder sir, scientist, senior scientist, and the next is followed by economic valuation of ecosystem services by Mr. P. Raghuveer IFS Garu. And then in the afternoon session we are going to have Mr. Y. Joel Suman, the principles and practices of water conservation systems. And then in the last session we are going to have ecosystem services and ecological economics by Nilanjan Ghosh, the director, Observer Research Foundation. This will be the last session of tomorrow's. All of you do join by 10 o'clock only. Thank you very much.
Shall I end the session, madam?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, dear all participants. Find the attendance links in the groups, in the chat boxes. Thank you all.
Sir Nageshwar sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you very much.